Coming up on Sports Night.
Can the men's basketball team find their offense?
Women's lacrosse welcomes the 24th ranked Duke Blue Devils to Ryan Fieldhouse in an absolute thriller.
And the Baylor tennis team comes into Evanston to face off against the Cats. Today marks the first day of spring training for Major League Baseball. Technically the game got postponed, but my oh my, spring is in the air, Ethan.
Soon it's going to be warm, sunny, and beautiful.
But enough about me. It's Sports Night.
Right now.
Well, Ethan, it's February 22nd, and you know what that means?
March is next month?
Yeah, exactly. We have got so many sports to look forward to, from baseball to lacrosse to fencing. Oh, what a time to be alive. But we're going to start with women's basketball. The women's basketball team faced off against Purdue, the Samuel Tarley of the Big Ten, in West Lafayette on Sunday. Let's see how they did. Opening huddle now, you see them grouped up. Hopefully they get this win. With the scoring starts Veronica Burton from 3 on the right wing to get 3 points on the board. And then Carissa McLaughlin here for Purdue. She went off, my oh my. She scored 28. Game is back and forth early. I mean, here you see just another 3 from McLaughlin. She was amazing. But pull up Pulliam here with the jumper. Cats lead by 2 at the half. And the Cats pulled away a bit. Here's Pulliam again with the 3, up 10 in the third quarter, but Purdue would storm back. Here's another 3 from Dominique Odin. They would tie the game up with that one. And the tie game here with seconds left. McLaughlin loses the ball, and is it a turnover? No, it's a kicked ball. Abby Scheid, you see right here, kicked it with her foot. Purdue got the ball back, and guess who? McLaughlin with the step back 3. Cats go down 61-58.
The Northwestern men's basketball team has been reeling of late, losing 5 straight and scoring more than 60 just once during the losing streak. But could the Cats stop the bleeding with 2 road games in Lincoln and Columbus? Let's find out. Beginning in Lincoln, the Cats scoring got started with a 3 from Anthony Gaines. And then Gaines again dishes it to Vic Law, who gives it to Ryan Taylor for the pull-up and the bucket. Nebraska here grabs the defensive board, and they go coast to coast, but the jury is in as Vic Law says no. Law finished with 15 points. Pardon now backing down his defender, channeling his inner Kareem with the hook shot for 2. And then Law again here picks up the pass and hits the 3, but the Cats would trail 28-23 at halftime. And then guess who again? Law goes coast to coast to get an and 1 layup off the glass. And then Pardon with the ball here, and he finds a wide open Anthony Gaines under the basket for the dunk. But a late run from Nebraska was too much, even with this late Pardon dunk, and the Cats lose 59-50. But the Cats would try to put together a win in Columbus last night against the Buckeyes, After struggling on offense early on, Dwayne Washington Jr. hits the 3 to put Ohio State up 2. A couple minutes later, Aaron Falzone drains a 3 of his own, and the Cats are down just 2. And then just before the half, Vic Law drives to the hoop and uses the soft touch to put the Cats down 4 at the half. A few minutes into the second half, Derek Pardon finds a cutting Vic Law, who gets the hoop and the harm, but the Cats were still down 7. But unfortunately for the Wildcats, the Buckeyes pulled away in the end as Keyshawn Woods fights through contact and hits the layup. Cats lose 63-49, their 7th straight loss.
Joining me on desk now is the one and only Andrew Golden of the Daily Northwestern to discuss men's basketball. You were doing an MLB fantasy mock draft before this, though, right?
And I killed it as well. Yes, it was great.
Okay, I mean, I'm sure your team was great. But back to Northwestern basketball, our offense has really been struggling of late. I mean, what else is new? What's going wrong for them?
I think the problem is they're struggling with their identity. I think that they tend to shoot three-pointers a lot and take contested shots instead of attacking the basket. When they get the ball at Derek Parton in the post, they're more effective. Derek Parton is one of the best big men in the Big Ten, but when they've been double-teamed, they've been settling for three-point jump shots from Vic Law to Ryan Taylor to foul zone. Whoever it's been, they haven't been able to make shots. I think it's just a matter of getting back to their identity, which is driving to the basket with Anthony Gaines, getting the ball at Derek Parton, and stop shooting the ball and taking so many contested jump shots from outside.
Yeah, now you kind of just alluded to this, but I mean, just trying to look at it from the silver lining, is there anything to look forward to in this offense? Like, what do we have to look forward to?
There's not a lot to really look forward to. I mean, the offense is extremely stagnant. I mean, 6 out of the last 7 games, they scored less than 60 points. I don't know what's going to change. Their offense is just not clicking on all cylinders. I think the only thing you can look forward to is maybe Vic Law and Derek Parton have a nice stretch at the end because they're seniors and they realize this is the end of their career at Northwestern. But I think that's the only silver lining that really is at this point for the Wildcats.
I mean, with the regular season coming down to the end, it might be a bit early to look on to our next season, but do you think you could predict next year's starting lineup for me?
There could be a lot of options for the Wildcats. I mean, I think at point guard, I think they need a point guard. It's something that they struggled with this season. I think Ryan Greer in his second year could be a really good point guard for Northwestern. I think Anthony Gaines definitely has a chance to start next year. He has a lot of experience. But when it comes to the forwards, they have a lot of options from A.J. Turner to Pete Nance and Miller Kopp. Foul zone, they also have Robbie Barron coming in. And then at center, you have Barrett Benson and Ryan Young. So I think they have a lot of options. I think they would start Benson. I think they'd start A.J. Turner, Anthony Gaines, Ryan Greer, and then maybe Miller Kopp because he started this year.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, I guess. Thank you so much for joining me. For more of Andrew's work, you can look at the Daily Northwestern's website for more.
We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll have all the lacrosse, baseball, and softball coverage your heart could desire. You're watching Sports Night on NNN, so stick around.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for the sweet victories, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. With spring right around the corner, at least we hope, we thought we'd celebrate a bit by bringing a special guest on desk, Mr. Flower.
Mr. Flower, what are your thoughts?
Not too bad. All right, well, thanks, Flower. For more of Flower's work, just have an exciting imagination. Now, lacrosse. The Northwestern lacrosse team is as hot as ever, unlike the weather. They faced off against 2 ranked opponents this past week. Let's see how they did. Northwestern getting ready to face off against number 25 Dartmouth at Ryan Fieldhouse. Early first half, tied up. The senior Lisa Elder lines up for a free position. She knocked it down in top left corner. Next here, Northwestern possession. Megan Duffy gets the free position. Cats lead 4-2. This time Northwestern on the fast break as Jill Girardi goes to her left side and fires a bullet past the goalie. And then another free position shot. This time it's Claire Quinn who beats the goalie again on the stick side. Cats go up 7-4. Northwestern slowed things down a bit here, taking a bit more time. Looking to run a play as Amanda Kramer finds a cutting. Lauren Gilbert who burns it home. Cats lead 11-5. And then running a little pick and a roll here, Lauren Gilbert finds herself with the ball, and after creating a little room for herself, is able to score again. She would end the day with 4 goals. Cats win 21-15. Northwestern versus Duke now. You see the fans were excited. This was a pretty good game. They should be excited. Lauren Gilbert here with an unassisted goal makes the score 6-4 Northwestern early on in the first half, but Duke would go on a bit of a run. Maddie Jenner scored assisted by Catherine Cordy, making the score 9-6, but Duke eventually would lead 11-6. Here you see that goal right there. And then Liza Elder with the free position goal here. Cats will go on a bit of a run. 12-10 Duke at halftime. Megan Kinna now with the jump shot, as you see right here. Oh, there she goes, making the score 16-14 Cats. But under a minute now. This is a close one, ladies and gentlemen. Lindsay McComb coming up. Oh, I guess we get some fans first. All right, tie game now. Coming towards the end, Lindsay McComb breaks a tie and scores the go-ahead and eventually game-winning goal. It's 21-20 Northwestern. I'm as excited as those fans right there. Crowd goes wild, and they would literally run out the clock. 21-20 is your final score. The Cats are doing pretty well for themselves.
Baseball season is finally here, and the Cats began their 2019 campaign with a trip to warm-weathered Arizona to take on the BYU Cougars and the California Golden Bears. The Cats started off the weekend on Friday, but fell to the Cougars 4-3. Jackson Clough led the way for BYU with 2 RBIs. In the first game of the doubleheader on Saturday, the Cats bounced back with a narrow 3-2 win. Junior Sam Lawrence was solid on the mound, pitching 5 innings, striking out 5, and allowing just 2 hits. In Game 2, however, the BYU offense was out in full force, tallying 13 hits in an 11-2 victory. Brock Hale powered the Cougars' bats with 3 hits, including a solo shot in the third. On Sunday against Cal, the Cats took charge early with a 4-0 lead after 5, before going on to win 9-5. First baseman Willie Bourbon had the right stuff on Sunday, going 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs, including a solo homer in the 5th. The Cats traveled to Durham, North Carolina to take on the Duke Blue Devils in a 3-game series beginning tomorrow afternoon.
The Queens of the Diamond had a couple of softball matchups this past weekend against ACC opponents, UNC and Louisville. Let's see how they did. It was a Friday night game in Chapel Hill in the 50s, so a bit chilly, but much better than it is here. The Cats scored 1 run in the first, 2 in the second, and 2 in the third. #wow. Danielle Williams was the winning pitcher for Northwestern. She is now 5-0 on the season. #double-wow. Game 2 now on Saturday night in the 30s. Now that's more like the weather that I'm used to and love here at Northwestern, but the Cats were not successful. Their offense never really got it going as UNC pitcher Brittany Pickett dominated. DH Hannah George was 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Rachel Lewis, Maeve Nelson, and Mac Dunlap all committed errors.
And we're now joined by Benjamin Rosenberg, assistant sports editor for the Daily Northwestern, to talk Northwestern softball. Benjamin, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
We've seen the Cats get off to a hot start so far this season, and they were able to take 3 of 4 in the Big Ten ACC Challenge this weekend, like Cole just mentioned. What has been the key early on for this team?
Well, it's been a bit difficult to just pick one thing, but the pitching has been really strong. I mean, Danielle Williams is 6-0 in the circle. She has been the pitcher of record in each of Northwestern's last 6 wins. As a team, the Wildcats have a team ERA under 2. Kenna Wilkie and Morgan Newport have also turned in solid work in the circle.
This is a fairly young team after graduating 7 seniors last year and welcoming 8 freshmen this year. How, if at all, will that affect this team as they continue to progress through the season?
Well, yeah, you pretty much said it. The senior class last year was very strong. They went to the NCAA tournament 3 times in their 4 years. But this year's freshmen have really been carrying the team. I mean, Jordan Rudd is the catcher. She hit 2 home runs in the team's second game of the year against Pacific. She had 10 RBIs in the season-opening Titan Classic in Fullerton, California. Another freshman who's been doing really well is Nikki Cochran, the designated hitter. She's the team's leading hitter, batting over 400. And then, of course, Danielle Williams, like I mentioned, 6-0 already in the circle. She's also been solid at the plate as well. She had a game-winning hit in the 7th inning to complete a comeback against Idaho State, and then last Sunday against Louisville, she had a 2-run double in the 2nd inning that gave Northwestern the lead that they would not relinquish.
Despite their lack of experience, I think it's safe to say this group expects to compete in the Big Ten this year, so let's try to look long-term. How do you like the Cats' chances in the Big Ten this season, and do you think they can return to the NCAA tournament?
I definitely think they can. The Big Ten, not the strongest softball conference in the country. It's mainly the Pac-12 and the SEC, but definitely some solid teams. Indiana's off to a really hot start. Illinois is doing better than probably a lot of people think they would. Northwestern, I'd expect them to be in the top half of the conference, and Coach Kate Drohan, this is her 18th year at the helm of the Wildcats. Her teams always tend to be playing their best softball late in the year, so I would think that if Northwestern wins the games they're supposed to win, they will probably extend their season well into May.
Well, Benjamin, it should be fun to watch this team throughout the spring. If you want to read more from Benjamin, you can check out his work at the Daily Northwestern's website, or you can pick up a copy on campus. Benjamin, thanks so much for your time.
It's been a pleasure.
Is poker a sport? I mean, personally, I think so because they play it on ESPN. So I sat down with the Northwestern Poker Club to learn what it was all about.
These group of individuals meet once a week to play the game that is poker. While movies like Rounders and The Poker Booth made the game more popular, there is still a general negative stigma against the game. The president, David Kaplan, thinks otherwise.
Poker to me is like a pretty fun game that gets kind of a bad rap because it's sort of like a gambling game and doesn't always have the best connotations. But I think it's like a fun, solvable strategy game that I think more people should be playing.
How simple and casual the game is appeals to many members, but other players, such as Kim, likes playing for a different reason.
Poker is like a pastime, but also since I love math, there's a lot of math involved in poker, and so like doing calculations while doing something in my pastime kind of helps me train my mind, but also like a way to do something entertaining, but also
This club is just 2 years old and working hard to build membership and notoriety around campus. But why should people get into poker?
So my pitch for poker would be, well, it's pretty enjoyable, it's pretty casual, and like you don't need, like for some sports, you need like very athletic skills, and you don't need like very like high math skills to understand the theory behind it. The beauty in poker is that there's no right way to always play the right time, and you can just choose your own way of doing whatever you want.
This has been Ryan Coleman, Medill.
After the break, we'll check in with wrestling, fencing, and tennis, and our own Abby Wolf gives us an inside look at former Olympian and current Northwestern swimmer Valerie Groost.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all the go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
Whether it's March Madness or Game of Thrones or MLB opening day, it's all just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the hope of a bright future, but also I get to talk more about wrestling. Let's go to wrestling. Northwestern Wrestling looked to secure the mat against number 24 Illinois in a conference finale matchup. Number 3 ranked Ryan Deacon led the way, scoring an easy decision win. Number 1 ranked Sebastian Rivera also continued his dominance in the 125-pound division, securing a major decision win against 13th ranked Travis Petrowski. And finally, heavyweight number 12 ranked Conan Jennings got his 5th straight win in a close affair, winning 1-0. Ultimately, the Cats pulled off a relative upset and came out with the win by a score of 25-12.
Wildcats wrapped up regular season play at Junior Olympics in Denver, Colorado in fencing. Alyssa Chen paced the group of Northwestern first years with a 22nd overall finish in junior women's foil. The San Diego native went 5-1 in pool play and received a first-round bye in the direct elimination tableau. In junior women's saber, Robin Song's 5-1 pool play record earned her a first-round bye in the direct elimination tableau as well. With the regular season officially in the books, the Wildcats remain focused on preparing for the postseason, which begins Saturday and Sunday at the Midwest Fencing Conference Champions in Columbus, Ohio.
Sunday night, the men's tennis team pushed their current match win streak to 5 as they took on UIC and Ball State. They started off the day against Ball State, where they won the first 4 matches of the meet without giving up a set. Rather than resting up for later, they played out the rest of the event and won the remaining 3 matches, making the final score 7-0. The Cats took the court just a few hours later, getting started off on the right foot behind a doubles win by Chris Efron and Ben Van Dixhorn. After going undefeated in doubles play, Van Dixhorn took the Cats home in singles as they finished with a spotless 4-0 match win against UIC. Watch out for the men's tennis team this weekend in New York as they take on Columbia University.
Bear versus Wildcat seems like a pretty interesting matchup. The women's tennis team faced off against Baylor last weekend right here in Evanston. Let's see how they did. Northwestern kept the tennis ball rolling against Baylor. Cats won the doubles point and won 6-1 singles to put them up 3-0. Caroline Pozo finished off the Bears of Baylor by beating Paula Burano at 4 singles. The Cats finished 5-2 on the day and notched back-to-back victories.
For Northwestern swimmer Valerie Groost, she finds her passion outside of the pool. Our Abby Wolf has the story.
On a Friday afternoon 2 years ago, you would find Valerie in the pool. Nowadays, she finds her peace elsewhere.
I had never taken even art classes. Like nothing whatsoever, like my whole life.
Right now, she's working on a piece for her anti-illusion process and material class.
Every painting has to be the same. So you have to use the same materials, the same process. But somehow you have to make each painting unique.
Oh, did I mention she's a former Olympian? Valerie made it to the 2016 Rio Olympic Games representing Guatemala at only 17 years old. Then, she began setting records in the Norris Aquatic Center.
I was starting with the injury. I had been injured for a while with my shoulder. And then, especially once I transitioned out of swimming into trying to figure out like a normal student life and balancing schoolwork and stuff, like art was there.
Valerie's shoulder wasn't the only broken thing in her life.
Art came in a moment where I was having a really difficult time in my life. I was separating myself from my family due to an abusive relationship with my mother.
Valerie found a way to channel her emotional and physical pain.
You can use the different movements of the body and the different physicalities of it, exploring ideas of pain and trauma. You can be the best version of yourself, and even if it's not a perfect piece, it's fine.
There will be no first place at the exhibition, but Valerie knows she's already won. For NNN Sports, this is Abby Wolf.
Thanks, Abby. This season has already been one for the record books for women's swimming and diving. Records have been broken in the 200 breaststroke, the 200 IM, 400 medley relay, and 200 medley relay. But if some is good, more is better. The women's swimming and diving team will look to bring home some hardware at the Big Ten Championships. Be sure to check in next week to see how the Cats fared in Bloomington.
Coming up, you'll get to see Ethan do the Macarena. You won't want to miss it.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It turns out Ethan doesn't know how to do the Macarena, but maybe you can do it next week?
Maybe.
Maybe, we'll see. But not to worry, though, because we got something else just as great. Plays of the week coming at you right now.
Coming in at play number 3, we saw it earlier. Derek Pardon finds a wide-open Anthony Gaines, who slams it home for the dunk.
What a play, honestly. Nice dunk. I wish I could dunk. Number 2, Abby Wolf here, our very own, gets the steal and then finds Brianna Hopkins, who goes from East Coast all the way to the West Coast for the nice layup. Oh, beautiful spin, too.
And our number 1 play of the week, what else could it be but Lindsey McCone finding the back of the net to put the Cats up 21-20 for the game-winning goal.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, for Ethan Fore, for our entire production cast. My name is Ryan Coleman. Join us next week. Roll Cats.